Alright, so for Motion Tween in Flash, you're gonna create a little symbol first. So we start with a simple shape. I grab my rectangle tool and whatever color I want it to be, and it's a shape. If you select your selection tool and click on it, in properties you should see that it's just a shape or maybe a drawing object. That wouldn't hurt if that is there. In the library you should have nothing because you just started a whole new document, okay? Let's select a thing, and there's a way to convert your whatever shape you have or whatever item you have into a movie clip, into a symbol. You can go modify, convert to symbol. However, I would much rather use the F8 little key. That's much faster, much more efficient. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit F8 and I'll have this dialog box right here. It says convert to symbol. You have a name that you're gonna put in, you're gonna select a type, and we're gonna also put registration. Don't worry about anything else on there. That's gonna be for later lectures. So type, we're gonna select movie clip. As you can see, there's also button and graphic. We will go over those at some other time, okay? But it's very important that you understand that movie clips are gonna be the most used. 99% of the time you're gonna be working in Flash, especially if you're coding, it's movie clips. Okay, you're very rarely going to use graphic or button. Okay, so movie clip. Registration. Alright, so registration is going to be on the top left. I'll explain that in a second. And then finally the name. Naming conventions are very important. So we don't want to name anything that has spaces in it. We don't want to have the name too long. We want it short and concise but very descriptive at the same time. That is in the shape of a box, and it's also a movie clip. Okay, you can name it box MC, and I'll explain how to name things here. We name this thing box MC because it is a box and it's a movie clip. I'm not making it box MC like that because that separates that in two different names. I cannot have spaces. I can have numbers. Let's say I have box 1 MC and box 2 MC. However, I cannot have one box MC and two box MC because you cannot start with a number. Another naming convention is that you don't include any of you don't use any of the special characters. So box number 1 will not work. That'll could potentially burn. And this is we're just naming a symbol right now. So later we're going to be naming instance names, and those are the ones that get to be used in the code, and that's a very big deal how you name things. In fact, in code, if you name something like this and then you call on it and use that, it will not work. It actually is going to break the entire thing, because in Flash world these two are completely different things. M capital and M lowercase are making it completely, it's like a cat and a dog, an apple and an orange, completely different. Okay, so just that little capitalization. Sometimes you'll see people name them like this, box underscore MC. People used to do that a lot, and now it's much more convenient, and that's the trend right now, is to name them like that. Okay, so that's what we're gonna stick with. So box MC right there. Movie clip, registration top left. I'm going to show you what that registration means. So hit OK. Now, check this out. There's your registration point on the top left. Do you see that? That's where we told it to be. There's the center of my shape. This outline shows that it's selected. In the properties, I also see that it has a little movie clip icon, and it tells you it's a movie clip. By the way, never change it here. You will run into some errors if you do. Now I want you to click on the library, Control L if you don't see it, and you will actually see that finally we have something in the library. That thing is called a symbol. Okay, I can actually drag in more instances of that same symbol onto the stage. Okay, it's something reusable that I can put as many of them as I want on the stage. The beauty of it is that, first of all, if I drag a whole bunch of them out onto the stage, it's only using the bytes that's in that one. So you're not creating a whole bunch of new items. You're reusing the same one. You're recycling it. You're keeping the megabytes or the bytes low in your file size. The second thing is that you can edit. If you decided that all of these squares need to be circles or a different color or smaller or bigger, all you need to do is edit one of them. Because once you edit one of them, that affects the one in the library, which in fact is going to affect everything on the stage. So to edit a symbol, all you need to do is double click on the symbol. Okay, what does this say? We're on scene 1 inside of box MC movie clip, right? To get outside of the symbol, to get back out, you just click on the double click on an empty space. So double click on the symbol to get in, double click outside of it to get out. Pretty easy, right? And this always tells you where you're at. So let's say I decided to get in. This is the timeline for the symbol, by the way. It's no longer that same timeline. And to prove that, I'll show you that I'll name this one boxes. And then I'll double click on one of them, and that no longer says boxes. It has its own timeline. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually change the color of it and watch how everything else changes, because that's the same symbol. That's how it's important to understand that. That's how symbols work. Okay. So I'm getting out of the circle of the symbol. Now all the boxes are the same color. I don't need so many of them. I'm just going to leave one. I've shown what we can do, that there are a lot of them out there. Now I'm going to just leave one and put it on this side of the stage. I'm going to create a motion tween. Your first motion tween. So I have this on this side of the stage, on this layer, on the first keyframe. That's the only keyframe I have so far. Okay, there are 3 ways to put in a motion tween in there. First way, the longest, is going to go insert motion tween. Okay, and that's when you have this selected. That's too long. I don't like going to menus. I like to be a little bit faster, right? Second one is you right click on the actual keyframe and say create motion tween. And the third one, the easiest one, since you're already working with this thing, you just right click on your symbol and say create motion tween, and you will have this span. Now what it gives you is 24 frames, simply because I'm at 24 frames per second right now. If you have 24 frames per second, it's going to give you 1 second worth of animation, which is 24 frames. So in 1 second, it's going to fulfill all that requirement to whatever we're going to ask it to do. This is your playhead, and it should be at the frame 24 at the last one. Let's pick up the symbol and move it from one stage, from one side to another. Hit enter and you can actually preview your animation. Another thing that you can do is you actually can bend this line, just like we bent shapes before. You come close to the line and you see the little arch there. You pull on it and you can bend it. And the result, it's going to follow the path. By the way, there's going to be 24 little dots because that's 1 per each frame. 1 per each frame. That means I can go onto any frame out here and say I'm going to go to frame 10. I'm going to pick up my symbol and move it up. I just altered my path. Do you guys see that? Zoom in. I just altered my path. I can put it anywhere and that will alter my path. I can do that again on frame 20 if I wanted to. And you can preview your animation. Now the reason is going faster here and slower here is because it has to cover more distance in the same amount of time. Here's where we stretch it out. Right now we have 24. Watch how fast it's going to go. If I stretch it out to, let's say, 50 or even 90, It's gonna take forever long. Look at that. You can get a cup of coffee waiting for that thing, right? Now I can make it real fast, obviously, by going here. It actually proportionally places the little keyframes in there, and it's gonna be real fast. But not only I can move this span of the tween overall, I can move the individual points by control clicking on them. You control click on the point, let go, and then pick it up and move it. Watch how fast it's going to go on the first segment. See how little time we have to get from one point to another? That's going to go real fast. Watch this. And then it's really long and then it speeds up again. That's how you control the speed. We're going to learn more about the speed in ease in and ease out lecture. Going to learn about that. You guys going to love it. But right now, just check it out. Make one segment really tiny and then one real long, and check it out. By the way, if you hit Control Enter, it will loop, because that's what Flash does, unless you tell it to stop. But wait, you can do that much more. You can actually double click on this thing and change colors. And actually do way more than just change colors. But let's change colors first. We have this one frame, we're inside the symbol right now. We have one keyframe where we have this little yellow or orange box. Let's select the next keyframe, the next frame, and create a keyframe out of it by hitting F6. And while that is selected, let's change the color. Let's say to green. And check out the two different stages of it. Go between first and second frame. Now, without doing anything else, I want you to control enter and preview it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Now what I want you to pay attention to is that what you're seeing is a nested tween or a nested animation. There's one animation that's making it go across the stage, like the first one we've created, and then we went inside the symbol and created another animation, which is just the flickering of two colors, but it's playing them both at the same time. Now we can do so much more with this. Let's try it. Go back into your symbol, and instead of just simply switching colors, let's take this frame, pick it up, and move it to, let's say, frame 20. Now we have red box and then it's going to be green one. Let's create a shape tween in between them to where it's actually changing color smoothly. And now hit Control Enter. As you see, it's playing this little tween inside the other tween. So it's going around and it's also playing the little colors. But we don't have to work with just colors. We can change the shape too. Let's close this out. Go back to our square. On the last frame, delete it. Grab your oval tool and make a little oval. And you will see that the shape tween is going to be doing this. Hit Control Enter, and it makes you dizzy, huh?
Looks like a screensaver.
Right, so that's the basics of Motion Tween. And don't forget that to nest twins, you have to go inside the symbol and make another twin. You can make a Motion Tween or Classic Tween or Shape Tool in here, and you can view the other lectures on that one. So here it is. You only see part of the tween this way, and part of the tween when you're inside the symbol, but you actually get to see both of them when you're playing it in the SWF file.